You ready, okay?
Official one might be like July 1st.
Oh yeah,
I've been doing it for years, and so what I did is I started channeling that energy to historical preservation of it. And so I've been successful in bringing as a person who studies
raffle tickets, and then this is the QR code for the program. No, one for each is one. Okay. Double the chances of winning something.
and it's like zapateo with more banda.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Documentando todo. How are you? Martinez is in the house.
Here's the authorities right here.
Hi. Oh, Maribel. Yeah. Good to see you.
Yeah, and we do our meetings in the firehouse. So
we have a house right now.
I started in 98.
Hi, this is Ramon Martinez from La Raza Historical Society. It's April the 28th, 2026, and we're at a Friendraiser event for Chicana Chicano Studies at San Jose State University. The program started in 1970, and since then there are many people that have gone through the program, so let's take a chance to talk to people who are connected to the program. We're speaking to Dr. Jonathan Gomez, who's chair of the Chicana Chicano Studies Department. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. You're here at the Chicana Chicano Studies Friendraiser. The purpose of this is to connect our department with the community. A very important political principle of Chicana Chicano Studies is being interested in, connected with, and to accompany Chicana Chicano communities. And so this is an effort to make those integral networks, to celebrate our presence here in San Jose, at San Jose State, and to figure out what people are doing. How can we listen to and learn from one another? What is going on in the community that can utilize our connectivity and collaboration? And so this is just the beginning of that effort, and we're just so happy that you're here to, check out what's going on.
La gente que habla español en la comunidad, ¿cómo pueden ayudar a este esfuerzo?
Pues lo más importante es estar presente, comunicar con nosotros, mantén interés en qué estamos haciendo, lo que hemos construido para la comunidad, para nuestros estudiantes, para todos.
¿Por cuántos años ha existido este programa de estudios Chicana Chicano?
Casi 60 años.
Qué bonito. Pues felicidades en ese esfuerzo. Muchísimas gracias.
Gracias y adelante.
Estamos hablando con Sandy Tapia, que es una de las estudiantes en el programa avanzado aquí en la Universidad de San Jose State. Buenas tardes, Sandy.
Buenas tardes.
How are you? Tell me, why are you here and why is this event important?
Yeah, I'm here at the end of my first year as a master's student at San Jose State, and I want to be in community, but also get to know people who support the program. I think it's important to show up for each other and continue to share our stories and recognize that not only is ethnic studies important, but it's important to keep telling our stories and keep advocating for our stories.
What kinds of things should people in the community, be they college people or non-college people, what can they do to support Chicana Chicano Studies at San Jose State?
One thing is they can also share their own stories. Maybe they've been here for a couple generations. What was that story like working with here when in Silicon Valley when it was still farms, or maybe their parents immigrated from Texas, or maybe it came from Arizona. What was that like? What culture was brought with them? And all those memories, they're historical, and they get erased when we don't tell our stories, and they don't get captured or passed on when we don't have anyone else to share them to. So just know that whatever your story is, whether you're a first generation eres emigrante, or maybe you're regaining your ability to speak Spanish, ese es un cuento que puedes pasar, and you can live historically for one of the first times ever, because we're doing the work to archive it and preserve it for the 7 generations to come.
Sandy, hay mucha gente que no ha asistido a la universidad, pero son líderes y tienen importancia en la comunidad. Y también son de varios países. ¿Cómo pueden ellos involucrarse en este esfuerzo?
Los invito a que visiten la página y también miren los profesores que están ahorita en las clases, quién está liderando algo en educación o en historia o en algo más que a alguien le interesa. Les invito a que le manden un correo electrónico si se puede, y si no, ven a la universidad, haz una cita para poder estar en comunidad con los profesores. Aquí ellos siempre están para compartir la información y no cuesta con nomás llegar y saludar, ¿verdad? Los invito a que hagan algo similar, así uno se puede educar, pero también se puede descubrir que uno no sabe y puede seguir la lucha para poder educarse ellos mismos.
¿Cuáles aspectos de la vida campesina quieres estudiar?
Mi familia son campesinos. Nosotros piscamos cherry yo especialmente por 10 años en Oregon, y mi familia llegó a Oregon siguiendo la corriente de Stockton, Bakersfield, Washington, Idaho, hasta donde llegamos en Oregon. Lo que yo estoy estudiando es qué saben los campesinos que no estamos hablando o elevando las historias para la gente que se encarga de la agricultura, porque ellos están en los principios piscando la fruta. Ellos saben que está cambiando cuando el clima se calienta de más o cuando la fruta se está estresando. Si no tenemos esos primeros conocimientos, no podemos adaptar o podemos cambiar las rutinas de agricultura antes que perdemos esa fruta o esa especial clase de fruta. Eso es lo importante. Los campesinos dan de comer a este país.
It's about connection, right? It's about creating space for meaningful conversation, for new relationships to form, and for existing ones to deepen. It's about cultivating a shared sense of direction and collective energy for the future of Chicana Chicano Studies at SJSU, right? Both, right, I should say both on our campus as well as the communities that we're part of off of campus, right? And so this is really, that's the message, or that's the goal or the vision of this gathering. Tonight we celebrate the strength, brilliance, and enduring presence of our department, right? We also gather with a commitment to strengthen the ties between current students and our alumni network, as well as our members of the community doing extremely important work with Chicana Chicano community, right? I look around this room and I see so many leaders who every day are doing important work to serve our communities, to expand the kinds of programs we have access to, and to enact livable destinies which we believe we are worth experiencing, right? So can we give a round of applause to those community members doing the important work? So tonight is both the beginning and an invitation, a reminder that this program is not only about what we teach, but about how we show up for one another. And so to help us situate this work within a broader university context, we'll hear from two university leaders. First, we'll have our College of Social Sciences Dean, Dr. Anne-Marie Todd. And then after Dr. Todd, we'll have Dr. Magdalena Barrera, who is the Senior Vice Provost for Academic Affairs and Accreditation Liaison Officer at our campus. Please.
Thank you so much for the invitation. We are having our College of Social Sciences end of semester celebration in 2 weeks, and now this is a really high bar set. We're having it here, and so I'm a little bit concerned that we will not even fill half the space. This is a real testament to Chicana Chicano Studies. So I was told I have a minute on the mic. I was asked to speak about the role Chicana Chicano Studies plays at SJSU. I'm going to take a minute and a half at least.
All right.
Okay. I could begin with the historic program. Chicana Chicano Studies at SJSU is the oldest graduate program, as such graduate program in the U.S. One of the only 5 graduate programs in Chicana Chicano Studies in California. When talking about the impact of the department, I could start with the huge number of students served by the Ethnic Studies General Education requirement established by Assembly Bill 1460, implemented in fall 21. Chicana Chicano Studies faculty and students are educated on the history of settler colonialism, racism, and the contributions of Chicana and Chicano communities. I could talk about that. But it's the co-curricular work. It's the work that happens along with and in addition to what happens in the classroom that establishes Chicana Chicano Study as one of the leading programs on our campus. Latinx students that led to the development of El Centro, the Chicanx Latinx Student Success Center. Faculty continue a close relationship, serving both formal and informal roles in mentoring and advising students in the center. And finally, it's not finally, but it's the last one, because I think I've taken actually 2.5 minutes at this point. Somos SJSU. The impact of Chicana Chicano Studies pedagogy continues directly influencing SJSU approach to being an HSI, a Hispanic serving institution.
Next up, we have Dr. Magdalena Barrera. Please.
Thank you so much, Jonathan, for this invitation to be here with you today. It's been so filling for my spirit to see so many former students, ones who were in the program long before I joined, ones who I knew when you were students and took classes with me and my colleagues, and those who have come since. Just beautiful to see all the beautiful faces here, and I'm so glad you turned out for this event. I want to say, for those who don't know me, my name is Magdalena Barrera. Okay, thank you. Okay. Some people know. I joined the department as an assistant professor in 2008. And it was a very different department then. After my first year, one of our senior faculty retired, and it was just 3 tenure-line faculty who continued on. And I remember in those days, it felt like when we had to form a committee to do something, Marcos, Julia, and I would look at each other and say, okay, well, we're the committee. We're gonna do this. It was our dream to have a department that is as vibrant, has as many faculty, is growing, doing the work that is being done now.
And so we're here at a Friendraiser, and you might think about, well, what is a friend? Well, I received emails from folks. So did you mean like fundraiser? Do I have to give any money like to show up? And I was like, no, this is a Friendraiser, right? We really want to connect
We want to reconnect, and we want to develop our relationships, right? One of the integral parts of Chicana Chicano Studies is Chicana Chicano communities. And so we want to be connected with y'all, right? Being a friend consists of being interested in attending our programs in the fall and spring, right? Showing up to the conversations, being willing to share your expertise with our students so that we can get an idea of what is possible with a degree in Chicana Chicano Studies, right? And so for the next step, right, we're gonna invite some poets, right? It's a cultural practice through which people cultivate political consciousness, preserve collective memory, and build community. It is a tool for naming oppression, challenging limiting narratives, to themes of nostalgia, identity, and home. Ani creates space for reflection, joy, and connection. Her words remind us that every story matters and every voice deserves to be heard. Annie is a celebrated member of Culture Counts Reading Series, an alum of our program, and just someone we're always ready to listen and learn from.
Hi, thank you for that introduction. Always so sweet. My name is Ani Abundis. She, her, they, ella pronouns. I'm an alumni from the CCS undergrad. I was a Chicana Chicano Studies major, and I graduated back in 2023. So just a short 3 years away. And then during that time, I met Gomez because he kind of just told me, like, do I know you? At Centro, I know you do that with some students, and no, I did not know you, but I met you pretty quickly. And you invited me, you asked me if I had ever done poetry, and it had been years. I think the last time I had done poetry since then was like middle school, or like an English class. And so CCS and the Culture Counts Reading Series, CCRS, both of them for me have been a process of homecoming, just like returning to my roots and my family and the community. So I chose some poems that honor people I came home to in that process of homecoming through Chicana Chicano Studies. I remember in my very first class with, who said this? I want to say it might have been Vega, if you're here, Christy Vega. But you gave us a reading and it has something about returning to La Milpa. And I've always thought about that because to me La Milpa is here. It's the people who plant those seeds with you. So before I go into some poems, I actually wanted to read something from my journal. Abuelitos, these are my grandparents. Say hello to Salvador and Antonia. Hello. Thank you. And I wanted to share them because I realized that I never really shared this part, and they're the reason that I continue to write poems and poetry. So they're in Spanish, but hopefully you have someone next to you who can be a kind friend and translate if needed. So these are aprendizajes por parte de mis abuelos. The first one, number 1, is to always remember that abrazos son la mejor medicina. Number 2, a veces el tiempo cura todo. No cura todo, pero sí ayuda a sanar. Number 3, debemos tomar pausas para alimentar nuestros cuerpos, almas y corazones. The whole body, spirit, also Vega. Number 4, hay que disfrutar de las riquezas de esta vida. Yes, comida rica, also familia y amigos. Number 5, sonríe, te ves tan bello cuando el amor se expresa en tu rostro. Number 6, ser vulnerable, llorar y tener un corazón sensible son superpoderes. And number 7, tu historia tiene valor. I'm very blessed that CCS connected me to other places of the world. Through Chicana Chicano Studies, I got to do an intercambio with some teachers in Chiapas, learn about the Zapatista communities out there and their ways of autonomous schooling. And so I wrote this poem when we were out there in Chiapas. We were in CDESI, Centro Indígena de Capacitación Integral, and this is for all the children that I saw there and I got to meet. It's called Alba, which is the Spanish word for dawn. Bajo lluvia y tormentas, el campo sigue despierto, desvelando la noche hasta el alba, precediendo al sol. Café con pan, fútbol y canciones, Los niños sueñan despiertos, corriendo hasta donde nuestros pies no nos puedan llevar. Estamos de regreso en el salón original donde grillos y mariposas nos recuerdan cantar y volar. Bailamos en sintonía un son jarocho guiándonos. Aquí somos libres y rebeldes. Nacen colectivos insurgentes. De México a Palestina, cada isla de resistencia, somos fruto del amor, testigos de la lucha, pasada y por venir. Cuando se acerque una tormenta, mira hacia abajo donde juegan los niños. Mira a la izquierda donde late el corazón y recuerda que el alma no tarda en llegar.
We have our next poet. We have, I want to invite Jessica Vera up here to share about their experience in CCS and tell us about what CCS means to them.
A hand of applause for Jonathan. Gracias for bringing us all together. Really happy to see some familiar faces from CCS, from Comunidad, and just in general, a lot of beautiful souls in the room tonight. Really honored to be here. Thank you again for the invitation. I'm also honored to speak a few words. Now, husband, Sjsu. He's not present today. I know some of you folks might know him. They were also the first major for CCS as well. And I will also be reading a little bit from their experience within CCS. So this is from Sjsu. Chicana Studies truly changed my life. I wouldn't be who I am without the amazing faculty, staff, and comunidad behind CCS. From Profe Ponce being my first professor in CCS to Dr. Jonathan Gomez and being one of his favorite students. Okay, Sue's called it right there. To now close friend. There's so many others who helped me along my journey. Loves technology and chose to be Comunidad, be a Chicano major instead of being a computer science major. They put community first, as always, and we still do. We carry that work with us from CCS out to the world, making those real connections with folks who might not feel heard or seen within a classroom. And we carry that within our work today in San Jose, East Palo Alto, and now in Stockton. You can find us there, building comunidad. El Centro, along with the mentors, and specifically for me, De Anza College started it all también. Some folks in the room might also know Juan Gamboa Jr. Yes! He's amazing. Mayra Cruz was also an educator within my department for child development.
Fine with however.
Really good. Okay, get another one.
We're speaking to Eddie Garcia. And Eddie, tell me why you're at this event.
Tonight I'm at the Chicana Chicano Studies Friendraiser. I'm here because I'm an alum of the department. Back in the day when I was there, it was called the Mexican American Studies Department. So I came to support. It was a great experience in college, and I just want to make sure that other students get a chance to get the same kind of experience.
What was your major?
I majored in history, and I minored in Mexican American Studies. I call myself a trained historian. I learned how to research, write, analyze history, and it was a great program, and it helped me so much in my career. I went into, first of all, I went into politics, and then I went into the corporate world as a government relations executive. And the program in the history department essentially taught me how to do research, how to write, how to analyze data, and I used all of those skills in my career. So it was a great experience for me at San Jose State.
Eddie, what did you do for your master's study?
We had a senior thesis in our bachelor degree for history, and I wrote about the causes of the Mexican War with the United States.
what did you do at the end of Chicano Studies? How were you sounding? What were you interested in once you had finishing up a master's program?
You know what was funny about that is that I took 18 units in Mexican American Studies as a minor, and Mexican American Studies was rooted in a communitarian grassroots movement, which I thought was amazing, but it also made me fascinated about how we, as Mexican Americans, Latinos, whatever you want to call us, how we can impact the system from the inside. So I became really fascinated with politics, and my first job out of college was working for a San Jose City Councilwoman who happened to be the first Latina, the first Mexican American woman to be elected to the city council.
What was her name?
Her name was Blanca Alvarado.
Eddie, I know that by now you've written at least 2 books. Tell me about your latest book.
I just finished a book that was published by the La Raza Historical Society Publications, or publishing, about the development and founding of the Mexican Heritage Plaza in East San Jose. And it's a fascinating story, and it fit right into what my passion was right after college. It was a combination of that communitarian grassroots effort combined with someone like Blanca Alvarado, who worked the inside to raise $31 million public dollars to be invested in East San Jose. It's an amazing story, and like I said, it fit perfectly into what my passion is.
If you had some advice for a student who's thinking of coming into Chicano Studies, what would you advise them to try to learn?
My advice was to go with eyes wide open. I come from a very traditional Mexican-American Catholic family. And when I mean traditional, we were socially liberal, but everything else was pretty conservative. And so I went in at first in Mexican-American Studies with the idea about, I don't know if I could buy this stuff, and I'm not sure. I've had 3, 6, 9 units. But after I got more involved in the program and more involved with the curriculum, my eyes really started opening about how we are such a diverse community that there's room for all of us if we want to succeed as a community.
Final word?
Final word is Viva la Raza. We got to keep fighting the good fight, because for 200 plus years that we've been in San Jose and in this country, the United States, because for some families like mine, the border crossed us, we've had to fight it tooth and nail to get what we need and fight for our rights, and we got to just keep on doing it.
Thank you. I'm Ramon Martinez from La Raza Historical Society, and we're here at the Friendraiser for Chicana Chicano Studies from San Jose State. So I went through the program in 1972, so it's been a while, but it's really good to be here and see these following generations. Lots of bright young people who are the leaders of the future. Congratulations, San Jose State. When I was in Chicano Studies in the 1972, it was a master's program, Mexican American Graduate Studies, but it had a program called ISPA, Institute for Spanish-Speaking Public Administrators. It was a specialization in the master's degree in being an administrator, policy making. So the program had lots of training in defining words, how to use language to master the audience. My professor at that time, Dr. José and Dr. Felix Garcia, were very influential on me in those times. And at that time, the emphasis of that program was learn how to, the words of policy. We did a lot of word splitting in those days because they used to say, whoever controls the definition control. And so it was a very good program. Even at that time, they talked about programming languages that were out there at the time. I remember learning a little bit about COBOL and things like that. We didn't actually use them, but the program was very aware that we were in a technology valley, and that was going to be important. I don't know how many people graduated. I remember the first classes, I think, were in 70 or 71. So I was in the program by 72, but I didn't graduate until 74. But there were a few dozen students that were in the master's program at that time. A lot of students took courses in Chicana Studies. But in those days, they emphasized the master's degree. Many people have asked me over time, why wasn't it a BA? And Dr. Carrasco said it wasn't a BA because in 1970, when you had Chicana Studies courses, there weren't any books written about Chicana. If you look at the books that were written about Chicana, few were around before 1970, 72. They were written by students later. And so they wanted people to take a discipline, science, sociology, political science, learn your discipline. Then at the master's level, write the books. So that's why it was a master's program with no BA at the time.
Loft Bar Bistro open Friday and Saturday, every Friday, Saturday, 5 p.m. Come by and see us, please. Oops, sorry.